It's a hard road to travel. It was a hard road to travel. The younger generation, you people, you know nothing at all what it was like. Absolutely nothing at all. You hear a fog, smog. The person will be standing in front of you and you don't see that person. I must first state that he left boarding school to the demolition site in London. The demolition site, those were the buildings that after the bombing and everything like that. You didn't, it wasn't operated. The thing that they used to demolish these buildings is what you call it, like a boulder. I think it was a boulder.
Bulldozer.
No, no bulldozer. They don't have those.
The demolition bull.
Yeah.
It's a great big
Yeah,
boulder.
wrecking
You slam into the building and you're outside all day until you finish work. There was no shelter, no warmth. There was no such thing as central heating to the ordinary man. Absolutely none. And they were out there working day and night. Most of the men, they come home with chilblain. I don't think any of you have ever seen that. You're working outside. The winters are winters like you have never seen it before. None of you will ever live to see such winters. The coal man used to, I'm just giving you a bit of the history of what it was like then. The coal man would call, I think, once a week, and then you can buy coal from them. And that's why you find many of these houses, not many, because most of them are demolished now. And at the front of it, there is a round thing, hole. And that's where you have to be home when the coal man is coming. You would shout to say, coal man, or whatever. And then you'd buy your coal and you would pour it down this thing so you can get some heat. You come and you make up the fire and then you get a little heat before you can go to bed. Getting where accommodation, getting where to sleep,
Nice.
it was at a premium. The first night that Bada told me, he spent one night in that property because suddenly they realized that the landlord and his wife, they were suffering from TB, hence this coughing. So naturally they disappeared. But no, he didn't disappear. He was penalized by paying 1 shilling for the night because he broke his contract. From there he went to several other, I think Editha Street. Ian, you should know, you're in Lambeth.
What street?
What street, Mum?
Editha Street.
We're in Romney now.
No, I'm telling you, you're one of the Brixton man. Yeah. Ultimately, you landed. You stopped at Richmond Terrace, which is not far from Dorset Road, number 5. Dorset Road.
Is that one of Cecil's?
Sita came up later, and that's where the journey begins. Let me see now. They had to have ration books in those days. You couldn't just go out and order, get this and get that. You were rationed because it was after the war. The Windrush Babe. Accommodation, if you occupy one room, God help you, you're lucky to be in that one room. And the bed, 2 shared. There is no division between whether you're the sex. You're in the same bed, and the mattress is not what the landlord would go and buy. It was off the skip that they had. Oh yes, and the spring. Some of those mattresses, they were so bad that the spring in the actual bed, because of the rot, it would come up to meet you. But that's all you could afford or get. Failing that, Clapham Common, the air raid shelter, it's there. It's there still. It's now a museum. That's where most of them were. No, what else now? The heating and the coal, man.
That's good.
I remember when you were leaving Jamaica, Have you heard of Dulcimania? Okay. Okay, that was what he had. And I remember my mother, she wrote him a letter and put it at the bottom of his suitcase, reminding him who his maker was, and he should never more or less throw his stick behind his back, in other words. And who mentioned that just now that how many people that you helped and whatever, you never forgot others. Encouraged by my parents, you helped to get a lot of people here. Some, they don't, well, they don't remember it and they don't want to remember it. Everybody wants to have their share of it, and you get bad name for all that anyway. Ultimately, you managed to purchase a property, Ellenwood Road, how many years. In those days, that house, 7-bedroom, I think it was about £400, the price of the property. And from there, Dorset Road, which is Sita. The boy listening?
No, she's listening.
Yes, that's right. And with the both of them, they made a good couple. Thank God. Yeah. They don't have been there. The fog was such, nobody knew about it here. None of you have ever experienced it. The person will be standing in front of you, and you don't even see that person. So much was the smog. When you blow your nose, it's black. On the building site, there are so many of your compatriots. They're now dead and gone. Asbestos poisoning. God had kept you.
Amen.
And that letter that my mother wrote, that you should never forget the Creator. You're blessed. Happy birthday. Thank you.